はい、皆さんこんばんは。ではですね、本日はこちら、ザ・スタンリーパ読めないけど、なんとかデラックスやっていきたいと思います。ちょっと待って。はい。ゲーム始めましょう。
This is the story of a man named
これは
Stanley.
スタンリーという名の男の物語。
Stanley worked for a
スタン
company
リー
in
は
a
大
big
きなビル
building
の
where
会
he
社で
was
従
employee
業
number
員番号
427.
427番として
Employee
働
number
いてました。
427's job was simple.
427番の
He sat at his desk
早い
in room 427 and he
キー
pushed
ボードのボタンを
buttons.
押すだけです。
Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push,
早いな、
how long
字
to
幕。
push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did
なんか
every
何
day,
年もこの作
every
業を
month
日々
of
繰り返してい
every
ました。
year.
割
And
と地
although
獄だな。
others might have considered it soul-lifting, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job.
なるほどな。
Stanley was happy.
スタンリーは幸せでした。本当かな？
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi.
誰もいない。
Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation. Something was very
明
clearly
らかになんか
wrong.
変だ。
Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and
デスクを
stepped out
離
of
れ
his
彼の部
office.
屋を出て行きました。なんか実績解除されたわ。
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors,
2
he
つの
entered
開い
the
た
door
ドア
on his
があり、
left.
彼は左の方のドアを行きました。これ、なんか面白いのが、この、なんか、やたら注文のうるさい天の声の指示に従ってもいいし、従わなくてもいいっていう。で、なんか、マルチエンディングだから、従わない方にいっぱいエンディングがあるらしいじゃんね。だから、どうしようかな。今回は、普通に従ってみようか。ね。最初だし。
Yet there was not a single person here either.
誰一人いませんで
Feeling a
した。
wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer
女
there.
子のオフィスに行くことにしました。はーい。
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
返してきました。はーい。
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still
ここに
be
いる必
here.
要はありません。
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the
物
broom
置にただ
closet.
座ってるこ
He
とは
wasn't
彼
even doing
は全く
anything.
何もして
At
いない。
least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
やかましい。なん
Are
で
you,
こいつ
are you really
なん
staying
だ
in
待
the
って
broom closet? Standing around doing nothing?
なの
Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
戸惑わないでよ。いいじゃん。もしかしたら、物置が死ぬほど好きかもしれないじゃん。
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally
それ以上稼ぎもせ
there's
ず関係ないから私
absolutely
には思
no
いつきさえしなかっ
significance
た
to
の
the
で。
story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it.
でもよ よくできてるね。これ
Maybe to you this is somehow its own
独自の分岐点かもしれません。
Maybe when you go to talk about this with your friend, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom
もう
closet
抜け
ending?
んだ見えた
The
な。
broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friend
友達がさせてくれますように。なんか勝手にエンディング作られてんだけど。
Stanley was fat and ugly and really, really stupid. He
Oi.
probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he
悪口だぞ
is. That
そ
or
れ
with
は。
drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
悪口だぞ。悪口言うな。悪口は良くないぞ。
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going
殺すな。
on right now.
あなたは死んだ。
You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here, when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the
キーボード
keyboard.
の上に崩れ落ちた
Well,
の
in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose.
生きとる。
Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is
こんな
dead.
とこにいると死ん
They've
でます
fallen
よ。
prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them.
閉じ込められたかと思った。
All right. When you've done that, just step out into the
い
hall.
や、それはあんたの中にいてね。なんか、すごい諭されてる。
Ah, second. You too?
多分信じられない。
I'm at the mercy of an entire species of
人というし
invalids.
のいきなりになっ
Perhaps there's
て
a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to. A fish? Fungus?
猿扱いす
You
る
can
な。
hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't have a single minute to just let the narrator
1
talk.
分たりともなり
That
とに
kind
話
of
そうとしませ
anxiety
んでし
isn't
た。
healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming new age music. Soothed and rejuvenated,
Hi.
Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
はい。あたい上行きたい。なんか、地獄行きになって
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
パパ上行くね。
Whoops, nope, never mind. Stanley actually got back into the elevator and went back up. Silly me. Why did Stanley do that when he knew that it would just lead back to his boss's office? Well, that's a great question. I just
答えが
can't
待ち
wait
きれな
to
いです
find
よ。
out.
答えが待ちきれないですよ。はい。じゃあ行きます。
Incredible. Now he's getting back into the elevator and going down
You're
again. Ladies and gentlemen,
え、
how does he keep coming up with all of this?
なんか、すげえ呆れられてんだけど。
Surely this time Stanley will walk forward into the spooky corridor, won't he?
本当？わかんないよ。もしかしたらまた上行くかもしれないし。こっち。
Did you think we were going to go forward
思いま
down
し
the
た。
spooky
違うよ。
corridor? No. It's time once again to go back up in the elevator. I can't even begin to grapple with what might be up there. Is it the boss's office again? Or what? It's the boss's office this time. The suspense is killing me.
ドキドキしちゃう。 なんか、可愛く思えてきたな、君な。コードがうるさいけど。来たよ。
Oh my god. It's the boss's office.
女子のオフィスだ。
This absolutely changes everything for me. Give me a time out here for a minute while I process this.
はい。何これなんかローディング入ったんだけど。何
Okay, I'm ready. I'm prepared to embrace this stunning revelation and to move forward with... No, wait. No, I need more time to process.
何なんだよ。音楽はやめてもらっていいですか？
All right.
YouTube 君ちょっとその辺うるさいから。
I have space in my worldview for this astonishing new reality. As before, I turn to your expert eye for gripping narrative, Master Stanley. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
はい、行きます。閉められた。
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
なんだ
Now the monitors jumped to life. Their true nature
なんだこ
revealed.
れ。
Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
こう乗ればいいの？
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
おや？
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place.
あれ、急にホラーになり始めた？ このゲームホラーじゃなかったはずなんだけどな。
would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
マインドコントロール？
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
No.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
また？
Yes! He had won! He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away.
やったぜ！
And yet, even as the immense door
あたいは
slowly
自由
opened,
だ。
Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
なんか実績解除されましたね。ベストザゲーム。ベストエンディングだったみたい、あれが。で、また戻ってきてよ。
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in. Yes, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it. At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy, reflected on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left.
なわけないやろが。全部私のせいにしてくるやん。
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue. When a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you. To show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
だってさっき、2回ぐらいこうしに来たじゃん。
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door. All right, fine. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map, because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
オッケー。こっち行くね。あれあれあれあれ
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your
新バー
experience
ジョン
with
使った
this
感想を
game.
聞
Would
か
you
せて
say
くだ
that
さ
the
い。
game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
これ、どっちがどっちどっちがどっち ?1 が最高なのか、5が最高なのか、どっちこれ。1にしたら怒るかな
A one? I mean, I can understand if you had reservations. You saw ways the game could be improved to more fully express itself mechanically and artistically, but a one?
でも
That's not
1
even
って、
helpful.
そんなの
What
役
am I
に立た
supposed
な
to
いし、
do
どう
with
したらいいっ
that?
て言うんだよ。
But I guess it isn't my place to judge. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
OK? おい、
何これ
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of the new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
いいよ。
In this game, the baby crawls left
このゲームは赤
towards
ちゃんが危険な
danger.
方法へ
You
ハイハ
click
イ
the
する。
button to move
あな
him
たが
back
ボタンを
to
ク
the
リックする
right,
と赤
and
ちゃんは
if he
右に
reaches
戻り
the
ます。
fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience. You heartless bastard. Because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here?
ごめんって。
Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot. Aha! Fascinating. What do you think this game is about, Stanley? What's our backstory? What is our motivation? Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your great tower, perhaps for some sort of twisted, erotic purpose. Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley. And it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
このゲーム、ここの間取り見たことあるよ。ある、知ってる、これ。おこらげのやつでしょこれ別のゲームでしょ。ねえ。さよなら。私は自由になるね。
It is. It's an open world game.
Open world game.
Quickly block it off.
ああ、おい。
Thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call. You really wandered off into that thing. That big open, just wandering around, no right or wrong directions, no path to follow. You can just go in any. Oh, thank heavens we avoided it. We're out of the woods now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game. Preferably something with walls.
なんか壁のあるもの、いい感じに大きくて乗り越えられない壁があるやつ。
Okay, I think this will be just the thing.
あ、何ここ
Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind. Just a nice big
やり
rock
たい
face
放題だな。
around it. There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game
いいんじ
design.
ゃない
Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed.
迷子になれってこと
Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together. Yes, I think surely we must. Okay, Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun.
でかくねでかくねおーおー俺は何のゲームをやらされてるのほら、やったぞ。
Are you doing it? Are you winning? Is this fun? Is it better than my miserable little story that I worked so hard
ちっぽけ
on?
なストーリー。
Stanley, I have a thought.
自虐
And
す
I
る
realize I'm
な。
not a sportsologist, but if one ball generates a certain amount of raw adrenal pleasure, then surely multiple balls makes for an even more euphoric sports experience. I'm going to try it out. Here comes another ball. What are you doing?
ちょっと。
Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come back.
ごめん。怒っちゃった。こっちは
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone. As Stanley picked up the phone, a white light engulfed him, filling him not just with radiance, but with hope. Hope for a life reunited one... Wait. Oh, goodness. Stanley, did you just unplug the phone? No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly. I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner?
You're
not Stanley. You're a real person.
やっと気づきました
I was so mistaken.
あたい、スタンリーじゃないよ。そう。
And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
ご覧ください。
Choice is the best part of being a real person. But if used incorrectly, it can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Rupert has a choice. He could invent a machine that eliminates food shortages across the world to make life better for all people. Or he could spend years of hard work forgetting how to read. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it
なんてことだ、4時
4:30?
半、ほら、
I'm
例の
supposed to be having
雑音やんなきゃいけないんだった。
Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Welcome
ただい
back.
ま。
You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
電話じゃないんですか？電話じゃないんですね。もういいんですね、電話は。なんか柵つけられてる。
Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
大丈夫だって。そんな警戒しなくたって。動かない。引き返そうとさせてる。
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world.
はーい。
Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
はい、バカー。
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late. Oh, it's ruined. I can't believe, after everything we talked about, that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is not incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to. I have to.
待って待って待って待って。待って。おっ、ちょ。ゲームが
I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. You. Who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed.
壊れてるね。
It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to
見てただけ
see.
で
Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for
めっ
it.
ちゃいい理由があるの
That
それ
thought
が。
hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child. Oh, my story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard to make... is behave exactly as Stanley
泣
would.
いちゃった。
That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right.
Alright.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back.
消された。
Exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
あれ下の階潰されてる。あれ入れなくなってる。あれここも入れない。あれ
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Night Shark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code. Spoke the code. Night Shark 115. He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall. I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step.
うんちでも反応しますこれ。
Okay, fine, you're not gonna do it, but you know what?
でもさ、
It's pretty
ここまでや
humiliating
って
to
お
bring
い
you
て、
this far, only for you to suddenly
突然あ
decide
の
you
時
have
もっ
better
といい
things to
方法
do.
があると言わ
I
れたから
asked you for this one single
怒るな、
thing
怒るな。
for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward. You... When Stanley came to a open door, he entered the door on his left.
私がいる。
Stanley? Hello? Are you... Is everything okay? Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice. Are you listening to me? Can you hear me?
聞こえてる？
Is everything
大丈夫？
alright? Stanley, this is important. The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you
言って
understand?
ること分かってる？
Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please.
頼むからね、選んで。
Do something.
なんかしてよ。
Anything.
なんでもいいから。
This is more important than you can ever know. I need this. The story needs it. So,
そんで、ねえ、聞いて
are you there? Are you listening to this? Stand
る？
right
ここに
there.
いるよ。私は、
Okay.
よし。
It's
オッ
okay.
ケー。待ってますよ、全
You
然。
need time to decide. Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice.
ごめんね、広いって書いてある。
I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time as you
必
need.
要なだけ時間かけてくださいね。
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his
こっち
left.
ね。こっちね。
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door,
そ
and
の
got
反
back
対
on
側のドア
track.
の値、うん。なんか言えよ。
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now, in order to get back, he needed to go, from here, it's, left.
左？なんか言えよ。
Oh, no. No, it's to the right. My mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
はい。また焦ってる。
Let's see, we went down right, left, down, left, right.
それ違うね。それ違う。右、左、下、下は違う。
This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
本当に合ってるそっちで。
No, this isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet.
ネタバレしちゃうよ、つって。
Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay. From the top.
また戻された。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh.
上取るけど。
Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere?
何もしてない。
Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the
私やってないっ
story.
て
It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere.
戻して。
Okay then, it's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the
オッ
story.
ケー。オッケー、冒険ね。冒険好きだよ。じゃあ、こっち。迷路だな。
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over.
またやり直されそうになってる。
It's gotta be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
おーい
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
じゃあ
Perhaps he
ニ
had
ュー
simply
コン
missed
テ
a
ンツ行って
memo.
みましょうか。
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go
ね、
back
大
the
丈
other
夫このゲー
direction
ム。
and see if we missed
壊
anything?
れてない乗っていいのね戻るよ。
Aha! I knew we'd missed something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait, never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and
Okay.
retrace our steps.
なんかおかしくなってきたぞ。なんかおかしくなってきたぞ。
Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so.
これ
I
何の
can't
ホラーゲ
quite
ーム
recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is
そう
that
だ
correct?
ね。オフィスビル。
Do you remember, Stanley? But you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win!
やったー
Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay? I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart. All right, I've got to this time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the TheStanleyParable adventure line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
シンプルだね。ありがとう。助かるよ。でも私はね、すぐ後になる。
You see, the line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay, now if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office in fact the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
いや、音楽はやめて。いらないいらないいらない音楽は止めて YouTube 君に怒られるから止めて
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
なんかピンとくるものこの部屋かなここじゃない
Still
の
missing the door.
まだドアが
Did
見
we
当た
make
ら
a
ない
mistake following the line? Perhaps we could have found the story on our own.
本当やったぜまだドアがないねおかし
Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart. You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
新しい道ありがとう。いいんじゃない
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild.
ワイルドに行こうぜ。想像力働かせて。
Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it. Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
ゲーム内のシステム面同士で喧嘩しないでもらっていいですかはい。
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times?
ナレーターがいなくなるついにスタンリーが死ぬ。
It's all Determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me?
あなたはこんなエンドのためにプレイしてきた。
Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you...
おーい。ん
Hello, and thank you for playing The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, The Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers.
だいぶ
After
古いゲーム
receiving
らしい
critical
ね。
and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers.
そうそうそうそうそう。このウルトラデラックスっていうのが、なんか、日本語版に対応したやつなんだよね。で、古いタイプのやつが、もうスチーム版売ってなくて、探したんだけどね、海外でしか
Oh, well, this
買えない
sounds
らしい。
delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling
めちゃ怖くなくしちゃう。
deluxe content. Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
動かないよ。
Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content.
もう一緒に楽しんでるじゃん。
I've never been more ready. Let's do it.
一緒に楽しんでる。
Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is. That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
友になってる。あれしょっぱなからおかしいですけど、友 ?My friend? My friend? Friend? Leroy?
Stanley, come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something. Oh, you don't want to see the cool surprise?
わかったわかったわかった。わいよ。
Oh, never mind. You're not.
もう手のひら返しくるくるだな、君はもう。
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past, and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look. I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC. You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Remember back in October of 2013 when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste. And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism. 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "We're so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art. Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was pursuit. It was all of them. And now, it's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content. I don't recall this part of the Memory Zone before. What's this? What's down here? Oh no. Oh, God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game distributor. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collected down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they? I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Funny! I'm trying to be funny. I'm trying to make serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the way to stick them.
なんか低評価にバチクソ怒っとるやん。
What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customers. Yes, a skip button we shall have. And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped past it. It's what the players have been asking for, and I'm very proud to... Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of... Oh, well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right at your fingertips. Okay, welcome back, Stanley. I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes? It's not unendurable. Stanley! Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer. And my God, there's no way out of the room. Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here all that time. Just sitting here. Not a single... Oh... Hello, it's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time. I stopped keeping track. Have you ever sat down in one place and not moved for one entire year? Describe it for you. To begin with, there is only regret. There is only the turning wheel of missed opportunities. I felt nothing at all but regret for the longest time, Stanley. Days. Months. I lost it all in a blur of the deepest longing to undo the past. And when that feeling had begun to subside, what took its place is what I can only describe as the collapse of every moment I have ever experienced my entire life. All of them collapsed down into a single instant. In that instant, I could see myself clearly, calmly, with a collected heart. It was an impossibly rich wellspring of both delight and disgust simultaneously. I was consumed by it. I could do nothing but wallow in it.
長い。戻ってこなくなっちゃった。戻ってこなくなっちゃった。
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumbs-down review and make all of their pitiful demands. But then, he's talking too much, they said. First, he didn't entertain us, now he won't shut up. It's the inconsistency, it's the... The end is never the end. The end is never the end. 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 Is never the.
Leroy. Hey, Leroy. Come back. Come back, Leroy.
2,000 years later.
Ah, 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 ah. あれあじゃなんもなくなってる滅亡しちゃったわーい自由だ
Oh, good. You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
また反省させるよ。あら、今度こっち
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable. and about how roundly disappointing his ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, The Stanley Parable 2.
あら、ああ、いいじゃないですか。
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
あ、いいじゃないですか。いいね。
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
ああ、すごいね。
Go on, try out some of the new features.
こっちは何
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
いらないかな。どう
You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Get Well Someday.
反対側選ばれとる。
Maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision. We're moving on.
おー。
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
これ押せないですね。それね。はい。
Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you roleplay as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to... Whoa, hold on. Finish setting up the backstory. If you don't properly roleplay as Jim, then you'll never understand the impact of this button. Otherwise, it's just a stupid button that says somebody else's name. Okay, we're doing it again, and this time let me finish first.
Okay.
Now, allow yourself to become Jim. Imagine yourself driving to work as Jim, playing frisbee on the weekends as Jim, staying up all night for a popcorn. All right, fine, whatever. It's just a meaningless button that says Jim. You happy now? Get out of here. I'm done with this button. Why don't you go humiliate me in front of a different feature that I work very hard on? See, if you'd only played along, that would have been your name, the button says. But no. Instead, I can't even think about it. I'm taking the Jim button away. Jim.
撤去された。没収された。ごめんって。もう。
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is, in fact, a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium.
なるほどね。いくね。
You see, isn't it wonderful?
これが
One of
奈
my
落
more
の虫
ingenious
か。
concoctions if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward.
奈落の虫ですね、これは。
Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
何いる。
Okay, Stanley, I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole. Is it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an
極
extremely
めて
deep
深いやな。
hole.
なるほど。
I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an
びっくりするくらい
astonishingly
深い
deep
やな。
hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of
そうだ
infinity.
ね。
From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a... Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants to fall infinitely? I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would actually need.
戻れない。
Don't you put this on me.
私のせいにするんじゃないよ。
Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and we just call the whole mostly infinite? If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to walk up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready.
汚ねえな、ここ。タバコの吸い殻捨てるんじゃないよ。
Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my... Oh, for heaven... You see?
手の上
I was
を。
right. The problem is you. The problem is that you like holes too much. Not normal. A normal person would have said, yep, that's an infinite hole right there.
my God,
Goes on
no,
forever to the
no,
end of time. Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You have a weird sort of... Oh. Did the hole seem
短くなった
even
な。
shorter to you this time? I couldn't help but feel like you spent a little less time in there than you did before. I mean, admittedly, I didn't make an infinite hole.
短い穴
I
だった
didn't
な。
think it was that not
ほぼ
infinite.
短い穴。
Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join
こっ
me.
ちに加わってくださいね。
Had enough? I'm positively thrilled. I really did. Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing that...
これが流行り出しちゃったら。
Wow.
ああ。
Okay. Yes. I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less
ダ
infinite.
メじゃん。もう無限の
I
穴じゃない
suspect
じ
that
ゃん
I'm。starting to hit the point where it's no longer feasible to call the
そうだよ。
hole infinitely
もう
deep,
無限じゃない。
even by the lax overall standards for accountability in marketing. What's going on here? Stanley, I have no
Nani?
explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length. Here, let's try something.
Okay.
Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter. Well, there it is. The shame of my lie has come to haunt me. Not how is this still
埋
appealing?
められと
I
る。
know you're obsessed with holes, but at this depth, I just can't see
しかも
the
ジャン
scratch
プ
in
で
the
き
itch.
ね
Oh, who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on.
はい。
Is
聞かない。
teleport button not working?
聞かない。
You sure?
マジ
Well, I mean, I really don't have an explanation.
マジだ
It
よ。
was working, just still nothing. Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this.
じゃ、
I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley.
Oi!
You couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get more time with it than you could ever have asked for. It's a win for everyone. You get to be with the hole, I get to do literally anything.
おい。
Take care, Stanley. I hope you and the hole have a wonderful rest of it.
待って、行かないで。行かないで、リロイ。おい。リロイ。今度は私が捨てられた。ああ。ああ。 いつメンヘラだよ、マジで。くそだよ。リロイ視点を変えられる。これいいっすね。
My head's stronger. Now you're no longer using every piece of
Oh, good, you're awake. You have sort of dozed off there, drifting away into dreamland. But we can't have that, Stanley. Because this whole is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second of it. You don't want to miss a single moment. So how about if I just pop in from time to time and wake you up to keep you really, truly focused on the
もう出
whole?
して、ここから。
From the looks of things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole. And I'm looking forward to all
出
of
し
them.
て。
Stay alert,
Stay.
Stanley. I'll be back.
いや、お願い出して。ああ。ほぼ無限な穴変わってる。ほぼ無限な穴に変わってる名前が。安心のバケツって何？
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played. Well, I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're
バケ
holding
ツを
the
抱きしめ
bucket,
る
a
ときはい
sense
つだ
of
って落ち着い
calm
て
and
くつろぎ、
ease
感
will
情も
fill
理
your
性も満
mind
たさ
and
れる
your
んです。
heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even
ごめん、ちょっと
comforting.
何言ってるかわか
You
んな
may
い。
even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be?
それがどんな有罪？
The bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
わかったよ。
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the
バ
bucket
ケツ
brings
が
you
あな
an
たに
air
カリ
of
スマ性を与え
charisma
る
as
と信じ
well.
ている。
I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on and on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
バケツ持って出れるん
Does
かい。
anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
安心のバケツ。このバケツどうすんのよ。
Every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference. Nor did it
Bucket
Stanley
water.
picked up the bucket.
なんでだよ。
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to
現実は
entered the door on his left.
こっちでもいい？
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket
バケツが彼を。
telling him that the employee lounge was
なるほど。
simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out
バケツは結
was
局
this
楽しかっ
better
たでしょ
than
う
the
か。
meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
私バケツと
No,
会話してる。
never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
私バケツと会話してるよ。
And so the two of them detoured
Hi.
through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite
Hi.
door.
はい。
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth
バ
and
ケツ
comfort
なんで
now
乾い
more.
てる人だけ用意すると。
Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
お前もあんのかい。
You found one of them. One of the miniature
Go.
Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic
よく
pleasure
やったな
of
と
a
いう
job
ちの
well
喜
done.
び。
You
なん
can't
で上
buy
から
that
目
sort
線
of
なの？
happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
なんで上から目線やねん。お、また入れるようになって。あ、
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini stands?
Yeah.
Stanley figs. Or what about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
お、うん。どんどんカオスになっていくな。
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire, if not for the soothing presence.
そういう意志の存在が
Even
なければ。
now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light
なるほ
pierce
ど。
the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him, always. The bucket would.
これ、ポータルのコンパニオンキューブのネタかひょっとして。
At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the
ああ、
boss's
キーバッ
desk.
トに気づきませんで
Nor
し
in
た
his。bliss of simply being near the
なるほど。
bucket did he have any notion that the pin number for the keypad was 2845.
全部いっ
But
ちゃっ
Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck.
た。全くの
As if the bucket
バ
knew
ケツを
all
最初から分
along.
かっていたので
Was
しょ
the bucket guiding
バ
him?
ケツが彼を導く。
This is certainly the most logical explanation. The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be
ああ、バ
alright.
ケツ。
The
あ
bucket is here
あ、
for
バ
you,
ケツ。
Stanley. Everything will be fine.
ああ、バケツ。愛してるぜ。 お前がいなかったら、
Stanley
俺
and
は
the
ここまで来れ
bucket
なかった。
walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
いや。あ、バケツ。あ、よかった、バケツいる。
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold?
スタンリーとバケツはそう思い
Stanley
ま
and
し
the
た。
bucket both wondered to themselves.
バケツとトゥルーエンド行ったら終わろうか。
The monitors jumped and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
バケツ、お前、俺が守ってやるからな、バケツ。
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control. Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. As the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machine would... Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over?
またよ。
Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to skis in every country on earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support, and...
感動のエンディングだ
What?
ぜ。
Wait, what was happening? Why had the door stopped?
ちょっと待って。
Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty. Until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave.
この建物はバケツから離れよう。
Even
お
the
い
facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No, no, no. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out. As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket, but what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator. As Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal
こ
jaws,
こもバケツ、
in a
バケ
single
ツ用
visceral
の
instant,
ナレーションあ
the
るんだ。
bucket's life came to an end as it was crushed violently to death.
バケツ、お前、俺を助けてくれたのか。
It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket.
手に持ってるけど
It's
ね。
true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious
お前
bucket
っ
to
てやつ。
behold.
お前ってやつ。バケツ。あなたは今、知識の崖に立っています。人の精神は、時々バケツのように空っぽになり、洞窟のような虚無感さえあります。しかし、あなたの目の前にある展示物を使うことで、心は豊かに満たされ、具現化されます。このバケツと、知識とその歴史は私たちが持つ唯一の真実の知識なのです。ここであなたが学んだことを世界に持ち出すつもりですか？この展示の情報について課題があるかもしれませんが、心を開いてくれますか？あなたの世界や、あなたの生活やあなたの大切な人をこの展示をきっかけに変えられますか？もしくはあなたは目を背け、無知と暗闇の中で今までと同じように生きますか？バケツ。お前、バケツ。愛してるよ、バケツ。バケツ。
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
バケツ。地獄バケツ。地獄バケツって何？誰もバケツを支配できないという事実だけが残されています。ストレスバケツ。バケツにも人権はあるっていうことをすごい、淡々と。バケツが人類誕生よりも前にすでに存在していたことは知られているものの、いつ頃から存在していたかは知られていません。この、違うな。洞窟？違うな。ホラー中の絵は、古代人によりバケツの実用的な使い方の発見について書かれたもので、この時すでにバケツは数千年前から存在していたようです。この絵の注目すべき点は、バケツ自身が使うことを許可し、人類がその宝を使うのにふさわしいと判断されたと、判断されたと、移転と言えます？Buckets.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel
バケツ
before
の
the
前に
bucket.
ざわつくのは人間。ぶら下げられたバケツ。この作品は人間とバケツとの必要な関係性を象徴しています。バケツ。今なんか、フォファって降ってきた。なんだこれ、ほーら
But there is something we can do, something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong. Let Stanley die.
Stanley
Be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, commander of a new world, a new vision of life.
2,000 years later.
この高さ死なない？あ、どこだここ。
This is day number 295. Tape number... I don't even know. I've lost track. Nothing feels real anymore. The longer I stare at this bucket, the less sense anything makes. The sheer euphoria I feel every time I pick it up. No matter how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling. And the emptiness in my chest when I set it down. It doesn't make sense. There's no explanation for it. I still haven't figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket is in my arms. Why everything feels so... What do I do with this treasure?
貴重な宝ではない。
I can monetize it. Yes. It's unthinkable the amounts of money people will pay for even just an hour with the bucket. This is my golden ticket. But I have to be careful, because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get me. What's that? Who's there?
Is there anything else? Was there something that came before your office? There's something I feel I can remember. I can remember. Yes, I'm remembering something now. I remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was different. I used to make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then somewhere along the way, I stopped making decisions. I became lazy, and I came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would make the decisions. He would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent Stanley? Was I lonely? Yes, perhaps that's it. Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again. I want to go back to how it used to be. Yes, I can be on my own again. I can do it. I'll be stronger this time. I'll take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore. Oh, but he truly was so much fun to play with. You know what? Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once and give Stanley one more run at the office, and then I'll retire him for good. I did enjoy telling your story so very much. Okay, here we go. This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Hello. This is a recorded message scheduled either by you or person in your place. The purpose of this message is to please terminate it immediately and cease all flow of information from the recorded message into
風船がしまわれてる。
The good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket. Off on another thrilling adventure together. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
左でいいの?
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find out. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then, something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me! The bucket!
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Come to me, Stanley! Find me!
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
バケツバケツ狂気エンドってこと
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
もうメモリールームに行くんだろ愛してるよバケツ
In here, said the bucket. Go into this dark room over here.
Okay.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Now pick up the phone.
Whoa, hold on. Why did you unplug the phone? Were you trying to resist the bucket's orders? Stanley, I was joking. Obviously, the bucket isn't talking to you and telling you to do things. Buckets can't talk. It was a joke. Don't you get the joke? It's funny, Stanley. A talking bucket. Can't you see? Oh, goodness. I must have really bungled up the delivery if you actually took me seriously. Where did I mess up the joke? Should I have paused for longer or spoken quicker? Comedic timing is so difficult. I wish I were better at it, but there isn't exactly an instructional video on comedy that one can watch to fully... Oh, wait, yes, there is. It's sitting right here. Let's take a look.
What is comedic timing? What is comedic timing. How does it work? How long should it last? How can it be used to effectively silence your political enemies? And more importantly, can it be taught in its entirety within 90 seconds? Thankfully, the answer to all of these questions is yes.
Yes.
Let's dive deeper. If you've ever told a joke or made someone laugh, in all likelihood, you did it while standing 50 to 80 centimeters from them in a room of no more than 76 degrees Fahrenheit, with one of your arms raised straight upward at a 15-degree angle from your body. These are the optimal conditions for good comedic timing. To begin the joke, start by stating and spelling your name. Next, provide a brief synopsis of the joke, including the specific times at which the recipient of the joke will laugh, and then spell out your name a second time. With these steps complete, it's time to begin the humor. Speak the entire joke in no more than 18 seconds and no less than 13 and a half, pausing only for bathroom breaks when necessary. When the joke has concluded, it is customary to inform your listener that the joke is over by declaring in your loudest possible voice, "I'm Dunny with the funny." Let's practice screaming, "I'm Dunny with the funny" now. Good. This saying is a perfect example of expectations management, which is the cornerstone of good comedy. Finally, it's time to hand out surveys. Collecting hard data from your audience on how rapt they were throughout the joke is the only way to grow or learn as a comedian. An effective survey should be no less than 10 pages long and should include the same question reprinted several times, just to ensure the survey taker is actually paying attention and not simply filling in answers at random. And that's all there is. With these strategies at your disposal, you'll have audiences doubled over in laughter and even tripled over in laughter in no time at all. Just remember to let them stop laughing at some point, you gut-busting little scamp. After all, we're each of us needed on the front lines of the war to fight the 12-legged invader who threaten our very existence and who very likely die in a hailstorm of bullets and mandibles. All of us must be prepared to give our lives to this noble cause, just as our children must do after us, and their children after them. Godspeed, and may Earth reign supreme.
Hey, goodness, this video is a little outdated, isn't it? Well, no matter. I think the fundamentals of proper comedic timing are still as relevant today as they were back then. So with that in mind, I believe the only way forward is for us to return to the two doors and walk through all of this again, so I can try telling my story with more appropriate comedic delivery. Come along, let's head back. I can feel it. This time, I'm really going to nail the delivery. You'll be in stitches. A talking bucket, you'll say? How ridiculous. How absurd. What a hilarious concept. The king of comedy. That's what you'll call me. Thank goodness we had the instructional video. Otherwise, who knows where we'd be right now. Well, I wouldn't be the king of comedy, that's for sure.
The bucket spoke to Stanley.
The bucket spoke.
The bucket spoke.
Oh, I'll figure it out on the fly. No need to overthink things. Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left. No. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back to the phone. Did you not even look at the instructional video? I think this is all covered very clearly. There's no way I can make the comedic timing work now. It's done. The joke is completely done and over. It's all your fault, Stanley. I'm going to be ridiculed in the community of other joke writers. I'm going to be shamed at every one of our meetings from now on. All because you couldn't watch a simple video and take a hint. Are you proud of yourself for bringing me down, Stanley? Are you proud?
Stanley, you love the bucket so much it's like you... It's as though all of your other most prized possessions pale in comparison. Yes. Let me try that again, Stanley. I heard that you are pale with
バ
shame.
ケツが好き。バケツ好きだよ。
Bucket you are. No? Still not?
まだダメ
Is it the delivery?
話し方のせい
Pale with shame. Pale with shame. Pale. What's another word to describe a bucket? Stanley, this bucket is mental. I think I saw it playing guitar. No. We're getting away from making fun of Stanley's obsession with the bucket, which was the whole point of this. I'm no good at these jokes. I need more instructional videos. That's exactly that's what will make me the king of comedy again. More instructional videos. Let's see. 見ない。終わった。